You're ready.
Have you guys ever noticed how everyone just goes through trends? We always have these trends go through our lives, and even pastors have these trends we go through. And like this shirt, I'm sure it was a trend at one time. I'm not sure if it is anymore. I don't really pay attention. I just thought it looked cool, so I bought it. But there was this one trend that went on for a while. I don't know if it's still going on, but there were these shoes that had like a banana tip or something. They look like elf shoes. I thought they were ridiculous from the beginning, but I noticed a lot of pastors were wearing them. I always thought it was kind of weird. Anyways, my dad was an evangelist, and we went to this one church, and I noticed the pastor immediately was wearing these weird shoes. I was like, what in the world? And he got up during during between worship and his sermon, he gave a little speech afterwards, but I wasn't really paying attention because all I could see were these bananas on his feet because they were bright yellow, and all I could do was look at those bananas and go, that's terrible. And I didn't hear a word he said, honestly. I don't remember what he talked about, but the thing was I missed out on something important, I'm sure he was saying. He was saying something important, and I missed out on it. I was too caught on judging this guy's horrible way of dressing. And I was caught on something that didn't really matter. Matthew 7, 1-2 kind of talks about this in saying, do not judge others, and you will not be judged. For you will be treated as you treat others. The standard you use in judging is the standard by which you will be judged. So we can be measured by the measurement we set for others. Jesus is talking about how when we put a judgment on someone's life, we will also be judged by those same standards. And I find very often that when I measure someone with a measuring stick, I found in my life that I'm usually later smacked by that same stick. But we get caught up in this judging people or this idea that we need to edify people. But the thing is, we confuse good edification, which Paul talks about later in the New Testament, with judging. Edification is done through love, while judging is just for the sake of I'm right or they're not right, and they need to know this isn't right. And we tend to take on God's job. We don't trust God with it. People come to know the Lord, and they're trying their best to serve Him, but we think God can't do His job, and we need to help Him out a little. This person just doesn't get it. And sometimes that is called for. I'm not going against that. But what I am against is when we just are focused on this idea of just constantly coming after people and we get caught up in looking at others instead of looking at ourselves and our own walk with Jesus. Judging is when we condemn someone in harshness. We don't look at them with love or with care. We forget that they're a person too, and they're trying to serve the Lord. And in the end, we accomplish nothing. All that happens out of it is hurt. We miss what is important, which is Jesus, is the sacrifice Jesus did for us, that He came, He lived, He died, and He rose again, that we may all come to know Him and have victory through Him. When later in that same passage, Jesus says, do not point out to someone that there's a speck in their eye when there may be a log in your own eye. We get so caught in this idea of judging or debating on things that don't really matter that just nothing gets done. It means nothing in the end. For instance, I am against drinking alcohol personally, and I know there's plenty of Christians out there who don't see that as a problem, and that's how I believe. But if I just sat there all the time, just constantly beating people over the head who drink or consume alcohol, and just said, "You're sinning, you're going to hell," instead of just focusing on the fact that Jesus comes first, and saying, and maybe I don't agree with them, and I may share that I don't agree with that, but if I focus and put Jesus first in my life, and instead of getting focused on other people's lives, I won't be so prone to feel that I need to defend how I believe. To defend... I don't want to also make it sound like that I'm saying not to be hesitant with the gospel. We need to be firm in our belief, But I also don't want us to get caught on hounding other people and just constantly berating others, because it's a waste of time. Really, we need to learn to love others, and we do need to share truth. We do need to share the truth, but we need to also focus that Jesus is the light, and as long as we share him and continue to edify each other in love, instead of just a holy rever of the holier than thou thing going on, then Jesus can work through us. So what I just want you guys to take away from this is that don't forget what's important. Don't forget that Jesus is where our salvation is found. Jesus is who our identity is in, and he's what it's all about. I just don't want us to forget that and get caught on things that matter but pale in comparison to him. Thank you for your time.